October 11th, 2015. It's just past 1 a.m. at the Rebar in Eastcote, West London. The lights are low, casting long shadows across the room. The music, once pulsing, is now a soft murmur as closing time creeps closer. About 40 patrons remain, some finishing their drinks, others lingering in conversation, reluctant to end the night. Among them is Josh Hanson, 21, standing near a wall, laughing with his girlfriend and a tight-knit group of friends. You're smile at ease. His smile warm, unaware that across the bar, a stranger's eyes are on him. In less than 10 seconds, a single, brutal act will shatter lives, spark a global manhunt, and ignite a mother's relentless fight for justice. Welcome to the Crime Decoder, the podcast that dives deep into the most gripping true crime stories. Tonight, we unravel the tragic murder of Josh Hanson, a young man whose life was stolen in a flash of violence at a West London bar, and the extraordinary pursuit to bring his killer, Shane O'Brien, to justice. From a chaotic crime scene to a fugitive's calculated escape across continents, to a mother's crusade that refused to let her son's name fade, this is a story of loss, resilience, and retribution. Settle in this case will grip you. The Rebar in Eastcote is a popular haunt in northwest London, a place where locals gather for drinks, music, and late-night laughs. It's a typical Saturday, and the crowd has thinned to about 40 people. The bartenders are wiping down counters, the DJ packing up. Josh Hanson stands near a wall by the dance floor, his girlfriend by his side, their conversation light and easy. At 21, Josh is the picture of a young man with a bright future. He works as a roads planner for the Brent Council in Kingsbury, a job that suits his meticulous nature. Colleagues describe him as polite, hardworking, always quick with a smile. He's close to his mother, Tracy, and his younger sister, Brooke, living with them in a modest home in Kingsbury. Tonight, he's dressed casually, jeans, a dark shirt blending into the crowd, just another guy enjoying a night out. Across the room, in a dimly lit corner, sits Shane O'Brien, 27. He's unassuming at first glance, dressed in a black Canada Goose jacket, sipping a drink with a small group. His dark hair is neatly combed, his demeanor calm. But O'Brien is no ordinary patron. Known to the Metropolitan Police for drug trafficking and ties to organized crime networks spanning the UK and Europe, he moves in a world of shadows. His criminal record includes low-level drug deals and connections to figures in London's underworld. But tonight, he keeps a low profile, his eyes occasionally scanning the room. CCTV footage later shows him seated at a table, his posture relaxed but alert. His group separate from the rest of the bar's patrons. Josh and O'Brien have no connection. They've never met, never spoken, never crossed paths in London's sprawling streets. CCTV confirms they stay in their own corners of the bar for most of the night, their worlds divided by the hum of music and chatter. Josh laughs with his girlfriend, unaware of O'Brien's presence. O'Brien sips his drink, his face betraying nothing. But something no one can fully explain is about to pull these two strangers into a deadly collision. At 1:10 a.m., Shane O'Brien stands. The CCTV captures his movements with chilling clarity. He pushes back his chair, adjusts his jacket, and walks directly across the bar toward Josh. His stride is deliberate, not hurried, his face a mask of focus. Josh, still leaning against the wall, is mid-conversation, his girlfriend's hand resting lightly on his arm. He doesn't see O'Brien coming. Witnesses later recall a fleeting moment, a brief exchange of words, too quiet for the camera's microphones to catch, too quick for anyone nearby to fully register. Some say it sounded like a challenge, others a taunt, but no one can agree on the words. In one fluid motion, O'Brien reaches into his jacket, pulls out a Stanley knife, and slashes Josh across the neck and chest. The wound is horrifying 37 centimeters long, a deep, jagged gash stretching from behind Josh's left ear down to his torso, severing major arteries and veins. Blood sprays, then pours, pooling on the floor in seconds. The attack is over in less than 10 seconds. Josh stumbles, clutching his throat, his eyes wide with shock as he collapses. The bar erupts into chaos, screams pierce the air, glasses shatter as patrons back away, some frozen, others scrambling toward the exits. An off-duty nurse, still in her scrubs from an earlier shift, pushes through the crowd. She drops to her knees beside Josh, pressing her hands against the wound, blood soaking her fingers. She shouts for help, her voice steady but desperate, trying to stem the flow. Josh's girlfriend is sobbing, her hands trembling as she holds his face, begging him to stay awake. But the wound is catastrophic, too deep, too wide. Paramedics arrive within 8 minutes, their sirens cutting through the night, but even their speed can't save him. At 1:28 a.m., Josh Hanson is pronounced dead at the scene, his body still on the blood-soaked floor of the rebar. Shane O'Brien doesn't run. He doesn't panic. He turns, adjusts his jacket, and walks calmly through the bar's main door, stepping out onto Field End Road. The CCTV captures his exit, his posture composed, as if nothing extraordinary has happened. Within moments, he's swallowed by the night. The rebar becomes a crime scene. Blue lights flash outside. Police tape seals the entrance, and forensics teams move in, collecting blood samples, fingerprints, and shards of broken glass. Witnesses, some still trembling, give halting statements to officers. The CCTV footage is clear. O'Brien is the attacker, his face unmistakable. But by the time police identify him, he's long gone. Shane O'Brien doesn't return to his flat in Ladbroke Grove. He knows the police will come knocking. Within hours of the attack, he activates a criminal network that's as sophisticated as it is shadowy. By 4 a.m., he's at Biggin Hill Airport, a small private airfield in southeast London. Far from the prying eyes of major terminals. Using high-quality fake documentation, passports, IDs, meticulously crafted, he boards a chartered private jet bound for the Netherlands. The move is seamless, almost surgical, a testament to the resources at his disposal. Investigators later marvel at the audacity. A fugitive slipping out of the UK on a private plane, hours after a murder, with no trace left behind. For the next 3 years, Shane O'Brien becomes a phantom. He moves across Europe, Amsterdam, Berlin, Paris, even as far as Dubai, staying in safe houses provided by his criminal contacts. He uses burner phones, swapping them frequently, and relies on cash to avoid digital footprints. High-quality fake IDs allow him to cross borders undetected. The Metropolitan Police, working with the National Crime Agency and Interpol, launch a global manhunt, but O'Brien is a step ahead. Tips come in a sighting in a German nightclub, a rumored safe house in France, but each lead evaporates. In February 2017, a breakthrough seems close. Czech police in Prague arrest a man calling himself Enzo Melancelli for criminal damage and assault after a bar fight. He's got long hair, a thick beard, and a new tattoo, an owl and skull, inked over an older mark on his arm. A crude attempt to obscure his identity. He's released on bail, and no one makes the connection. Weeks later, a routine fingerprint check reveals the truth. Enzo Melancelli is Shane O'Brien, Britain's most wanted fugitive. But by the time Czech authorities move to rearrest him, he's gone, slipping back into the shadows. Sightings follow in Gibraltar, Nice, and Prague again, each one tantalizing but fleeting. O'Brien is a ghost, always just out of reach. In Kingsbury, Tracy Hanson is drowning in grief. Josh was her anchor, her pride, a son who lit up their home with his quiet humor and fierce loyalty. But Tracy refuses to let his death be just another statistic. With her daughter Brooke by her side, she channels her pain into action. She launches a campaign that's as relentless as it is heartbreaking. Tracy prints thousands of laminated wanted posters, each one bearing Shane O'Brien's face, his cold eyes staring out. She mails them to bars, cafes, police stations, and community centers across the UK and Europe, from London to Lisbon. Tracy takes to social media with a mission. On Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, she posts O'Brien's image daily, her captions raw and urgent. "This is the man who killed my son. Please share." She joins true crime groups, contacts local news outlets, and begs for retweets and shares. Her posts go viral, O'Brien's face spreading across feeds worldwide. On what would have been Josh's 23rd birthday, Tracy and Brooke strap on parachutes for a skydive to raise awareness, their jumpsuits emblazoned with justice for Josh. The event draws local media, and Tracy's voice, trembling but fierce, cuts through. "I won't stop until he's caught." Tracy doesn't stop there. She walks London's streets, a sandwich board slung over her shoulders. Josh's smiling face printed beside O'Brien's mugshot. She stands at King's Cross and Euston stations during rush hour handing out flyers, her eyes meeting commuters as she pleads for information. She meets with the Met Police, the National Crime Agency, even Interpol, her questions sharp. How did a murderer board a private jet? Why hasn't he been found? Her persistence keeps Josh's case in the spotlight, forcing authorities to prioritize it. The Josh Hanson Trust, founded by Tracy, raises funds for victims of violent crime, turning her grief into a legacy. Tracy's campaign turns O'Brien's anonymity into his greatest weakness. His face is everywhere on posters, screens, even billboards. Tips flood in. A sighting in a Dubai cafe, a rumor of a safe house in Nice. Each one is a spark, keeping the manhunt alive. Tracy's resolve becomes a force of nature, a mother's love weaponized against a fugitive's freedom. March 23, 2019. Quiet street in Romania. Shane O'Brien, still posing as Enzo Melenchili, walks alone, his guard down. Plainclothes officers, tipped off by an anonymous source, move in swiftly. They tackle him to the ground, his fake ID useless as they check his fingerprints. The Allen skull tattoo, meant to hide his past, betrays him. His identity is confirmed. Shane O'Brien, Britain's most wanted man, is finally in custody. O'Brien is extradited to the UK in April 2019. He appears at Westminster Magistrates Court, charged with Josh Hanson's murder. The courtroom is packed. Tracy and Brooke sit in the public gallery, their faces etched with pain and resolve. At the Old Bailey, the trial begins in September 2019. Prosecutors build an airtight case. CCTV footage shows O'Brien's deliberate approach. The concealed Stanley knife, the savage slash, and his calm exit. Witnesses describe the bar's chaos, the nurse's futile efforts, Josh's girlfriend's screams. Forensic evidence maps the 37-centimeter wound, its depth and angle proof of intent. O'Brien takes the stand, his defense flimsy. He claims a moment of madness, insists the knife was for self-defense, that he didn't mean to kill. But the jury sees through it. The CCTV shows no provocation, no struggle, just a calculated strike. His flight to Europe, the private jet, the years of evasion, all point to premeditation and guilt. On October 17, 2019, after hours of deliberation, the jury returns, guilty of murder. The courtroom is silent as the judge delivers the sentence. Life imprisonment with a minimum term of 26 years. The judge's words are scathing. This was a grotesque and savage attack, carried out with chilling precision. It showed no remorse, fleeing like a coward, while a young man's life drained away. Tracy Hanson weeps quietly, clutching Brooke's hand. For them, the sentence is justice, but not closure. Josh is still gone. Josh Hanson's life ended in seconds, a fleeting moment of violence that left a void nothing can fill. But Tracy Hanson's fights, spanning years, crossing continents, defying despair, brought his killer to justice. Shane O'Brien, once a ghost slipping through Europe's shadows, now faces decades behind bars. Was the 26-year minimum sentence enough? Did it honor Josh's life? We want to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe to the Crime Decoder for more unforgettable crime stories. Until next time, stay vigilant and keep decoding the truth. Another case awaits.